Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Now more than ever, people want to know if there's anything they can do to help. And the answer is yes at BioLife Plasma Services. Your plasma is desperately needed to create life-changing medicines to help treat people with immune deficiencies, those who are most at risk right now. When you donate plasma at BioLife, you can earn up to $700 in your first month. Check out our new St. Paul location opening March 20th or visit biolifeplasma.com to learn more about donating plasma. biolifeplasma.com.
The USA Radio Network presents the greatest radio programs of all time.
Suspense. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
This is classic radio theater.
Gangbusters!
I was a communist for the FBI.
Lights out. Everybody.
Now here's your host, Wyatt Cox.
We head back to March 1st, 1953, an episode of Dragnet, The Big Want.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko Fugitive Detail. You get a call from another city to pick up a burglary suspect. You know the name he's using. You know where he's living. Your job, pick him up.
The documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 4th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitive Detail. My partner is Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Steed. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:42 a.m. when we got to the corner of Selma and Fountain. The Arizona Carlton Hotel.
Guess we check over there, huh?
Yeah. You got the mugs?
Yeah, right here. I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Hartfield. Yes, I know we say each room is air-conditioned. Well, yes, ma'am, but it is true. I know, ma'am, but the air conditioning is on full now. All right, ma'am. Yes, I'll send some right up. I'll be with you right away. Front. Here, boy. Get some ice water up to Mrs. Hartfield in 502 right away. Now, sorry to keep you waiting.
It's all right, sir.
What is it you wanted?
We're police officers, sir. Here's our identification.
There's nothing wrong, is there? Don't know what I'd do if anything else went wrong. The air conditioning unit went out this morning, making excuses. I don't know how much longer the ice water's going to hold out. What is it? What's wrong now?
Do you have a Mr. George Richmond registered here?
Probably gives his home address as in the desk stove. Richmond, let's see here. Wait a minute.
Sir?
How do I know you're what you say? Police department's always sending out circulars saying to be careful about this sort of thing. It's a respectable hotel, you know. How do I know?
Well, here's our identification again, sir. I showed it to you before.
Oh, Friday. How about yours?
Yeah, here you are, sir.
Uh-huh. All right. Can't be too careful. Your own office says that, you know. Careful. Anybody can come in here with a badge.
Yes, sir. Now, if you just check the register for us, please.
Yeah, sure thing. Oh, yes, sir. Here he is. Richmond George, Modesto, California.
Is he here now?
No, checked out day before yesterday. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Registration desk. Yes, Mrs. Hartfield. Yes, ma'am. I know that's what we advertised. Well, yes, ma'am, but it's on the way up. No, ma'am. I sent the boy myself. Yes, ma'am. I'm sure he'll be there. All right, Mrs. Hartfield. Yes, ma'am. I may quit. Now, what was it you wanted with Mr. Richmond?
Well, you said that he moved out, huh?
Yes, bag and baggage day before yesterday.
Did you leave any forwarding address?
No, I talked to him when he left. Didn't say a word about where he was going.
Uh-huh. Was there anyone in the hotel he was especially friendly with? Anybody who might know where we can reach him?
No, kind of kept to himself. Nice fella. Sure tipped good. Kept to himself, though.
Uh-huh. Is there anyone around the place who might know where he was going? Bellboys, maybe the waitress in the coffee shop? Anyone?
No, I hardly think so. He didn't eat here. Don't blame him.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Here's our card. If you hear anything from Mr. Richmond, we'd sure appreciate a call.
You bet. I'll give you a ring.
You got any mail while he was staying here?
No, nothing. Not even a phone call. Didn't use the room for anything but to sleep. Real quiet. Good tipper, though.
Did he drive a car, do you know?
No, not that I know of. Say, come to think of it, you might check with Ernie.
Ernie?
Yeah, he drives a cab, usually right out in front. He picked up Mr. Richmond one night. He might be able to tell you something.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. If anything comes up, appreciate that call.
Okay. Hope you get what you're looking for. Registration desk. Yes, Mrs. Hartfield.
Let's go, Frank.
Right.
I know, ma'am, but the ice water's on the way up. I can't understand why it isn't there, but I am the manager, Mr.
Fellow out there might be him.
Yes?
Yeah.
Excuse me a minute.
Yeah?
Your name, Ernie?
That's right. What can I do for you?
Police officers. We'd like some information.
Well, I got a permit to park here.
No, it's not that. We'd like to know if you remember picking up a George Richmond here.
Oh. Richmond, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Richmond. Well, name doesn't make any bells ring. What's the guy look like?
You got those mug shots, Frank?
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
You cop, too?
Yes, sir. I'm an officer.
Yeah. You kind of look like one. Hey, this the guy?
Yes, sir, that's him. You remember picking him up?
Yeah, seems I've seen him before. Yeah. Good tipper. Yeah, I picked him up, let's see, a couple days ago. Drove him downtown. Sure, downtown.
Remember where you took him?
Gee, it was a couple days ago, like I said.
Yes, sir.
I haven't got the slightest idea.
10:07 a.m. We continued to talk to the cab driver. He was sure that he'd picked up George Richmond on Sunday night, but he was unable to tell us where he'd taken the suspect. We drove back downtown and checked with the cab company. On the driver's waybill, we found that he'd made 3 pickups that night from the hotel on Fountain Avenue. The first stop listed was a large cafeteria in downtown Los Angeles. We checked with the cashier. She was unable to identify the mugshots of Richmond. The second stop was a large apartment out on Wilshire Boulevard. We checked the manager of the place, and she told us that she didn't recognize the name. We showed her the mugshots of Richmond, and she said that she thought she'd seen the man 2 weeks before. When she asked him what he wanted, he said that he was looking for a Miss Norman. Because of the way he'd acted, the landlady hadn't told him that there was a tenant by that name living in the place. She gave us the apartment number of the Norman woman, and Frank and I went up to see her. Want to try it again?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Police officers.
What?
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
Just a minute. And what's this all about?
Miss Margaret Norman?
Yeah, that's right. What do you want with me?
What if we could come in, please? Be a little better than talking out here in the hall.
Yeah, I guess so. Come in.
Thank you. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Pleased to meet you, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi.
You alone here, Miss Norman?
Yeah, I just got up. Have to excuse the way the place looks. Kind of messy.
Yes, ma'am.
Mind if I put on some coffee? I'm not going to be able to answer any questions before I have a cup of coffee.
We go right ahead, ma'am.
What is it you want to see me about?
You know a man named Richmond?
Richmond?
Yes, ma'am. George Richmond.
Why'd you ask that? What's he done?
We'd just like to know if you know him, do you?
Yeah, I know him. What do you guys want him for?
We'd like to talk to him, Miss Norman.
Uh-huh. Don't want to tell me what it's about, huh?
Well, it'll be better if we talk to him.
Yeah. Either one of you got a cigarette?
Yes, ma'am. Here you go.
Match?
Thanks. You know, there's no love lost between me and George.
Is that right?
You bet there isn't, lousy bum. Regular drugstore cowboy. Takes a girl out for dinner one lousy night and a cheap dinner. Figures he owns her.
You know where he is now?
I haven't got the slightest idea. If I did know, I'd sure tell you. Bet I would. I'd like to see him get his way he treated me.
You know any of his friends? Anyone who might know where he is?
I don't think he's got a friend. At least I never met any of them.
Does he drive a car, do you know?
No, not him. Always took a cab. Used to kill me. Anywhere we went, he'd take a cab. One lousy block and he took a cab. Liked to be a sport. Always tipping big. Regular drugstore cowboy.
Mm-hmm. When did you see him last?
It must have been a couple of weeks ago. Not much, anyway. Last time I saw him. Don't care if I never see him again where he acted. I thought he was going to kill me.
Ma'am?
Went out to dinner and we got back here. He'd been drinking a lot. Got real nasty. I told him he better be going. You know, it was late and all.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, like I said, it was late and he got real nasty. Started yelling at me. Called me all sorts of things. Now, I'm not going to let any man say things like that to me, so I told him to get out. I'd never want to see him again. One lousy dinner and he thought he owned me.
Mm-hmm. Will you go ahead, Miss Norman?
He hauled off and hit me. Right there in the hall. Hit me as hard as he could. Almost broke my jaw. Well, you know, I let out a scream and he beat it. Caused such a commotion I had to move.
Then this didn't happen here, is it?
No, a place over on Vermont. I moved the next day.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you meet Richmond?
At the club. Say, you got another cigarette?
Yeah. Here you are.
Match.
Thanks.
What club's that, ma'am?
Where I work. Green Lantern, downtown. I'm the cigarette girl. I met him there. He came in one night. Acted real big. Asked me if I'd have dinner with him. As it happened, I didn't have an engagement that night, so I said yes. Well, we kind of went together for a while.
I see.
Sure hope you get him. A real bad guy. The way he treats women. Terrible. He say, wait a minute.
Yes, ma'am?
I know someone who might be able to tell you where he is.
Who's that, ma'am?
A fellow named Hank. Used to hang around the club. I saw George talk to him at the bar once in a while.
Well, do you know where we can find this fella, Hank?
No, but I can tell you where his girlfriend lives. That help?
Yes, ma'am, it will.
Place over on 3rd out near Fairfax.
Do you know his full name, ma'am?
Gee, I gotta think about that. Let's see. Jeanette, that's the girl. Jeanette introduced him as Palmer. That's it, Hank Palmer. I don't know about him, though.
What's that, Miss Norman?
He's a real mean one. Kind of quiet, not like George. George likes to shoot his mouth off, but Hank is quiet. He's trouble, though.
Ma'am?
Well, one night we went up to Jeanette's for a couple of drinks. Hank took off his coat. That's why I say he's rough.
Yeah?
Sure. Carries a gun.
"1:45 p.m. We got the description of Hank Palmer, and then Frank and I drove back to the city hall. We ran the name and description through R&I, but we got no make. We sent the name to George Brereton, CII, up at Sacramento. We got communication off to Washington, asking them for information on Palmer. We also checked the name of Palmer's girlfriend through our records, but we got no information. We contacted Captain Steed and arranged for a stakeout to be placed on the apartment of Palmer's girlfriend, Jeanette Allen. 2 days went by. Palmer and Richmond failed to make an appearance. We talked to Jeanette Allen, but she couldn't supply us with any information as to the whereabouts of the two men. Descriptions of the men were broadcast. Informants were questioned. We contacted the Modesto Police Department, and they sent us all information on the places Richmond was known to frequent while he was in Los Angeles. The kickback from Sacramento and Washington gave us no new information on Richmond, but Washington had him listed as having 2 arrests for armed robbery and ADW in the East. Another week passed. The stakeouts on Jeanette Allen's apartment continued. No sign of either of the men. Sergeant Al Panoges of the Bunko Fugitive Detail worked with us in trying to trace their movements. On Saturday, June 15th, we got word from an informant that Richmond and Palmer had been seen in town. We checked with the stakeout at the apartment, but they'd seen nothing of the two men. Frank, Al Panoges, and I drove out to relieve the stakeout.
Hey, Panoge.
Yeah, Frank.
Sure hot in this room, isn't it? Air just laying there.
Yeah. Paper says it's the hottest June 15th on record.
Say, Miss Allen.
Yes, Sergeant?
Now, you haven't heard from Palmer at all since he got back, is that it?
No, not a word. I don't really believe he's in town. I'm sure if he was, he'd look me up. Never done this before.
Uh-huh.
Say, would it be all right if I got a glass of water, miss?
Sure, help yourself right out in the kitchen.
Thanks. How about you, Joe? Want some?
No, thanks.
Al?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah?
Cab stopping out in front. Man getting out. Might be one of them. Guy's wearing an overcoat.
On a day like this?
You coming in here, Al?
Yeah. Cab's pulling away.
Okay. You want to take that side of the door, Frank?
Right.
You better go into the bedroom, Miss Allen.
You think there's going to be some trouble?